Honestly wasn't going to, but 100% of you who voted asked me to talk about Death Names, so here's your spoiler and hype-free review. What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I am the only person talking horror on the internet. Death Name is a Tubi original that concerns Sophie Park, a community college grad who's continuing her education at a university. She'll not only learn about her Korean heritage, but also whatever the fuck a death name is. Alright, let's bring this up and discuss. The make on this movie was not good. The opening isn't only trite and contrived, it looks like an FMV video from a Windows 95 compatible horror game. And it doesn't get better from there. You could see that there are shots from other films informing the concepts and the camera work. I felt a lot of Hereditary's slow pulls in the family scenes. And that's fine to do like once, but it's like every time. 4 out of 15. The acting ranged from good enough to downright awful. I do feel that lead Amy Kume, and I hope that I'm saying that right, is good enough to lead a film, but she does need a better project to really shine. The grandma in this movie has some weighty stuff that feels very, "This is the only way to play crazy!" And the boyfriend is supposed to be this super charismatic dude, and he's got about as much charm as a potato sack. And please note, that's just the sack, potatoes removed. 3 out of 15. The screenplay is atrocious. Aside from characters that don't have any character and dialogue that's less interesting than listening in on a Walmart staff meeting, there's entirely too much shit that makes no sense. The movie starts with Sophie turning down joining the Korean Society because she's, quote, not that type of Korean. She goes to one class on Korean history, becomes best friends with other people who have Korean heritage, and suddenly she's telling her parents that she's thinking about going by her Korean name now. Our passage of time as viewers is roughly 10 minutes. Hers can't be more than a couple of days. She also moves into a dorm very early on in the film, but spends the majority of the time going and hanging out with her family. One of my favorite parts is like an hour into the movie when it's already established that her grandmother has some form of degenerative mental condition, and it's also established that there's a supernatural force that they're fighting against, and Sophie hands her grandmother a butcher knife and says, "For protection," and then leaves her alone in the house. For what? To stab a curse? Fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. 2 out of 15. Death Name is not a scary movie. There's some mildly scary imagery, like I wouldn't show it to like a 4-year-old, but they never build tension and I don't care about any of the characters. 2 out of 10. As noted prior, the aesthetic to this movie is late 90s FMV at its worst, mid-2000s straight to DVD at its best. And furthermore, the decision to make the villain dress like he's one of the spies from Spy vs. Spy, that's a choice. 2 out of 10. I suppose that the story could be interesting in the right hands. And if this was a foreign film, I didn't mention that yet, but this is a complete American film about Korean culture. If it was a Korean film, I could maybe digest the cultural ideas a little bit better, but this just feels like silly and inauthentic in its setting. 3 out of 10. If the most important thing in a horror movie for you is kills, this is not your movie. 1 out of 10. Originality? I don't know, man. I mean, I suppose that I've never heard of a death name before, but if I had a dime for every East Asian movie about a curse that I could name, I'd have a fuck ton of dimes. Like, at least $4 worth. That's 40 movies. 2 out of 5. Rewatchability, I mean, at least it's short. It's bad, but I see 78 minutes, and I'm more likely to give that a second chance than something that's 2.5 hours long. 1 out of 5. Enjoyability, yeah, I just told you that Death Name was roughly 78 minutes. It took me about 4 hours to watch Death Name because I couldn't stand more than 5 minutes without turning away or finding something else to do or something else to watch and then having to rewind it. 0 out of 5. So overall, these add up to a possible 100 points, and when I chainsaw this off, your Massa score for Death Name is 20 out of 100. It currently sits dead last of the 3 horror movies that I've watched in 2026 so far. I don't think that you need to give it any of your time. I already gave enough for both of us. You're welcome. Kindred Spirits, I suppose. Timu Exuma. Night Trap on Sega CD, Random Tubi Original, who the fuck cares? So that's all I got for you cretins. That's gonna do it for today, creeps. Do all these things. Let me know, did you see Death Name and what did you think of it right over here? And as always, this is all just a matter of opinion. See it yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror.